la vie.
1950, a result which never left Walter Winterbottom, the manager. Has to be said it'll be the same for Roy Hodgson after this evening in France. England losing to Iceland by 2-1. How will English football recover from this? Here's the quarter-final lineup then. Wales against Belgium and Poland against Portugal in one half of the draw. Germany against Italy and France against Iceland in Paris in that quarter-final. So Wales still flying the flag for the home nations, which is great for them.
Yeah.
But.
You know what, Mark?
Where on earth do we start with that?
Well, you know what, we start in the qualifying. Easily one of the easiest qualifying groups I've ever known England to be in. And we qualified at 10 on the spin. I think we might have taken too much out of it. But to come out of that and still not have a proper system, your best team, and the way we played today, you know, yeah, we had 3 decent games where I thought, yeah, a bit of bad luck and that, but when you boil it right down, Mark, that second half was embarrassing, man. It was terrible. Ball going under people's feet and everything. It was embarrassing. Rashford came on and, you know what I mean, a bit of energy and injection of something, you know what I mean? You'd have thought maybe he could have done that half an hour earlier.
Do you put it back to the fact that maybe we saw different systems, different players in the run-up to the Championship, that it wasn't ingrained, that they weren't absolutely instinctively in the rhythm of the team?
Listen, we've seen Italy, we've seen Spain, we've seen Germany in this tournament already. I know how Italy play. You can see how they play. I know how Spain play. I know how Germany set up. I know how they play. I don't know how we play. Now, 10 wins on the trot, you're right, in qualification. And we're still going into the Portugal game before the last friendly before we came out here. He played a system that they didn't seem to know what they're doing. Vardy was tracking back. Kane was tracking back. That was the game before we came out here. So we still didn't know how we were going to play when we got here. There's 2 parts of the game. There's attacking and defending. We didn't produce in the attacking third. We created chances, didn't score in the 3 games leading up to this one. So we failed in that respect. We weren't tested defensively in those 3.
The first time we got tested.
The first time we got tested, in the attention to detail, the first throw-in in the second half, after we conceded a goal from a throw-in, after we scored, we knew exactly what we'd done, the mistake. We'd go in at half-time. The first throw-in the second half, Rooney was still marking the same player on the edge of the box. And we'd already conceded that. They didn't throw it to him in the end, but they were still set up. So nothing's been said again. Do you think
there's a lack of direction from the management then in the last
When you go in at half-time, you expect somebody to go crouching. You expect somebody to go, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. But it didn't seam to be said.
I thought the sad thing was Iceland looked more organised than us, you know. And I think the players we've got, the amount of ability that have experience, you know, playing in the Premier League. Some of those players are part-time. You know, it is embarrassing. There's no dressing it up.
Well, it just goes to show as well, Crouchy, they know what system they're playing, so no matter what level you're playing, if you know what you're going to be doing, you're kind of in that system of what you know what you're going to be doing, you're rolling it.
We have to mention the Premier League at some stage. Next season, the champions get £150 million in prize money. I know that only 34% of those on a Saturday, when you play, are eligible to play for England. But it's the richest league in the world. It's awash with money. Iceland don't have any professional clubs, and they've beaten England.
Yeah, but you say that as...
There has to be a fundamental fault line running through our game. If on the one hand you have an exceptionally wealthy league, and on the other hand you have a national team that underachieves so regularly.
I don't think there's a fundamental fault. I think it boils down to pressure. We're watching players that... Harry Kane was... How many goals did he score in the Premier League this year? It was unbelievable. He was doing things that... Putting free kicks over the bar and... doing things that we've never seen him do. Wayne Rooney a couple of times misplacing passes. He's a world-class player. You know, you can only put it down to pressure.
If you've got a system that if you're playing badly and you're playing in a system that everybody knows and everything, you can kind of work around certain problems. If you're not quite sure of the system and you're playing poorly, and then your technique starts to go and the pressure builds because of what
just started creeping in, and it was unbelievable.
You know, you talk about the money side of it, and I think what Leicester have proven is that it doesn't really make much of it. It comes down to application and motivation. What Ranieri gave those Leicester players, at the start of the season tonight. It didn't come down to money. It came down to the players performing. That's what it came down to. They did not perform. They're rubbish in this game today. Rubbish.
This game wasn't like the Slovakia game where we sat here and went, you know what, we battered them. We were unlucky today. We got beaten by the better team today.
England fell apart, didn't they, in the second half? They completely fell apart.
Absolutely. No other word for it. When seeing the ball going under people's feet like that, fell apart.
You would think after that first half and the mistakes that they made, the 2 goals were awful. They really were awful. You would have thought in the second half they would have been an improvement. But in effect, when you look at the second half how it was worse because technique-wise, they fell apart. They couldn't put 2 passes together. They didn't create anything with any width. They didn't have any speed to their play. So the players have to take responsibility for that as well.
Yeah.
They're senior players who are playing for their country, who played a lot of cap. They've got to go, do you know what? I mean, Wayne Rooney won't come off that pitch and go, well, I did all right. No. You know, he'll be distraught. But why the reason was they all did it together, that needs to be answered.
Couple of chances right at the end, you know, by which stage it's just, you know, it's just...
I think he's just slightly put them off there, but you know, the players will be devastated. I've been there when you've been knocked out. You know, they'll be gutted, and people say, oh, there's no pride, there's no passion, they don't want it enough. It's all rubbish. You know, the players will be gutted as...
It's a good point to make. However much money they earn, whether they're on £5 a week or £150,000 a week, they will be devastated.
I've been there, and I know that people say, oh, they don't care, they haven't got the passion, and you know, they're overpaid prima donnas, you know, but God, you know, they care, you know, they're going to be gutted. I mean, as gutted as we are in the studio and as gutted as everyone else.
Because this will stay with them, won't it? I mean, that's the reality. I was talking about Walter Winterbottom in 1950, which had some great England players in it. You know, whatever they do club-wise, which is brilliant, people will never forget, you were the team that lost to Iceland. You know, you didn't lose to Germany in the last 16, you lost to Iceland.
I lost to the USA with Graham Taylor. That was bad enough.
I did as well. Boston, weren't we?
Yeah.
That was horrible.
It's your fault.
That was a luckily for you, that was a friendly, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? Just when people were talking about the players not, what I saw, what they were doing there, someone was waiting for someone else to do something to pull them out. They were petrified. You could literally see it.
The real spark was Rashford. Really came on. He just didn't get enough time.
OK, Iceland have won by 2-1. Maybe not surprisingly, we haven't heard from any England player or management team yet. We will bring you whatever interviews we get as soon as we can on a night of abject failure for England, knocked out of the Euros by Iceland. England have been beaten by Iceland 2-1 in the Euros. Here's Roy Hodgson, the England manager. He's just stepped into this press conference.
No further questions or no questions at all, and no more interviews with Roy this evening. Thank you.
No more interviews with Roy Hodgson this evening. He's just resigned as the England manager after England lost 2-1 to Iceland in the Euro last 16 game in Nice. An honourable, decent football man, a man, let's be honest, left with no choice after that.
No, and he is a lovely guy, and you're right, honourable. He's done the right thing. I think he can't take the team any further in the competition because they're out, and so his contract was up. And I think he's done the right thing from his point of view, but also the team's point of view. I think he couldn't have took the team any further. So,
what would he honestly come out and say after that? What could he say?
Where could he go? You're saying
exactly. You know, unless he's coming out and totally damning, giving them a total blasting because, you know, he said that they've been they've and everything like that, which is a nice thing to say, but they've not been fantastic. They've not been fantastic.
It's hard because you don't want to be too damning because it is a young team, and the majority, you know, if not all of those players are going to be our players in the next major tournament. So, you know, if we sit here and slate them as, say, you know, how bad they are, we need to replace them. These are good young players, and they'll learn from this experience. And I think
no, we're not slating them, Pete. We're slating the performance.
Exactly, yeah.
Slating the performance.
I'm saying just, you know, obviously with him resigning, I think it takes the pressure off the players a little bit. You know, it's hoping that other people will start talking about him leaving rather than the performance. And I think it's probably why he came in and did it so early.
I don't take the pressure off the players. I don't think I know why he's done it. but I don't think it takes any pressure off the players. I think they've got to be in a position where they go, that wasn't good.
It might heap it on them a bit.
You need to be led a certain way, but at international level, you have a responsibility to play. Now, if the system's wrong, it's a joint effort. I think they've got to hold their hands up and say, tonight, their performances individually and as a team was poor. And from a coaching point of view, there was glaring errors there with the set pieces, etc., that weren't taken care of.
How do you think history will judge his time? He came in very late before Euro 2012, didn't he? So the fact they lost to Italy on penalties in the quarter-finals, you could accept. Brazil didn't get out of the group. Tonight, Iceland. You know, we all discuss about the fact they didn't win the group, so actually they landed themselves in the harder half of the draw, but then they played Iceland, but they've lost to Iceland. How do you think history's going to judge the Roy Hodgson reign?
I think that, like I said, I think when you look back at it, I don't think they'll be very kind because, like I say, the group that we came out of, it's an easy group. We won 10 games. You know what I mean? I was never getting carried away with it, and that's why coming into the tournament, you're thinking, well, hopefully something will click and. You know, the Dele Allis and, you know, like Vardy and Kane coming in with the form they're coming in with. You know, Sterling might catch fire again. And like, for the 3 games, we got by, it was OK, but never got tested. Never got tested at the back.
You know, we finished second in the group, you know, and with Wales, Slovakia and Russia. You know, that wasn't good enough. And then we go into the game with Iceland, and I think we all expected we'd get through that, and then we just felt that we'd just get beat after that. You know, so, yeah, the whole campaign's disappointing.
You know, we said at the start, with all due respect to Iceland, this is England against Iceland. There is no excuse for England not to win that match. None.
Absolutely, and he's not making any excuses, and the players won't. You know, you could see him after the game how hurt they were, and quite rightly so. They've gone out to Iceland. They should never have lost that game, but they have done. But you look at you could look at Roy Hodgson over the period of time and say, would this group of players with a different manager performed any better? Well, as Crouchy said, that will remain to be seen because this group of players will move forward without him.
Shall we have a look at the runners and riders then for those who might well replace him? So we've got half a dozen names here, potentially those to replace Roy Hodgson, who's resigned this evening. Look, the Eiffel Tower in Italian colours after that one. Gareth Southgate, old friend of ours, of course, 8-1. Alan Pardew, Gary Neville, of course, who's been an assistant to Roy Hodgson and has had managerial experience at 10s. Brendan Rodgers, who's just taken over at Celtic, 16. Eddie Howe's 16. And Arsene Wenger, 28-1. Would your old manager be interested in the England job?
I wouldn't want him as the England manager.
Because, why?
Because I just don't want Arsene Wenger as the England manager.
Who do you want then?
I'd go with Gareth Southgate, what he's doing with the under-21s and go that way. I think we've done the foreign manager and as good as they've been in the previous jobs they've done nothing for us. And as much as Arsene Wenger's been unbelievable for Arsenal and what he's done, I would rather like to see it be someone like Gareth Southgate who's done his bit with the under-21s and he's done it pretty well as well.
Yeah. Peter? He's the favourite, Gareth Southgate. He's in the FA system.
Yeah, I don't see why not. I think Gary Neville was someone that I thought was maybe looking for that role. Obviously, him being in the staff already, maybe it's not the right time for him. But
yeah, but you say that, Crouchy, but like with the coaching and everything what's going on behind the scenes, he's there as well. What has he been doing in there? Has he had enough? Like, has he been able to do anything? Because what I've seen of Gary, he's an unbelievable coach. But like, I've not seen it in our team.
Right, I'm surprised that we've conceded from a throw-in with Gary Neville in that setup. I'm surprised that hasn't been sorted. I mean, it's easy to see how they set up, and it was easy to work out. We made 3 mistakes in that 1 goal.
He couldn't have had much say for me, Gary Neville. Couldn't have.
OK, we'll take a final break. We're just hearing that Ray Lewington and Gary Neville are leaving the FA as well. Roy Hodgson, the England manager, has resigned this evening after England lost 2-1 to Iceland at Euro 2016. Roy Hodgson has resigned this evening. Jackie Oatley's with the former England manager Glenn Hoddle back at the Stade de Nice.
So Glenn with me to react to that news of Roy Hodgson's resignation. Not exactly a surprise. What do you make of the manner of it?
No, I'm not surprised, and he did it with dignity, and I think it's the right timing. I think with his contract coming to an end and the result against and the way we played in this particular game as well, not overall the tournament, but particularly going out to Iceland, the way we've played, I think it's the right decision. And as I said, he's done it with dignity, and it just hasn't worked out for him.
Is it right that he doesn't take any further questions?
Well, he's got that opportunity to. I think he feels he's done the right thing, and he said the right things, and there's not much else he can say. He's resigned, and you know, the FA will move on, I'm sure, and that will start probably in the next coming weeks. Who's going to take over from Roy? But you know, it's a very sad moment because you don't like to see any England manager resigning or moving on. But I think it's the right timing for it.
In terms of this performance, how can you explain it?
No, it's been a very lacklustre performance tonight. You know, sometimes you have games where you think, well, we might have done better there and we deserve better. Not tonight. It was very lacklustre. There was no movement, not enough movement. Nobody had options on the ball, and consequently, Iceland deserved their win.
They've won. England are going home. They've lost to a tiny nation with an enormous heart.
And it's the biggest day in Iceland's football history, no doubt about that. The one thing we haven't touched upon, which Sven-Göran Eriksson did and Fabio Capello did, which was, you England players are always exhausted after a long season. No one is making an excuse here. Is that a reality at all? Does a long Premier League season take its toll any more than it would in the Bundesliga, La Liga, Serie A?
I don't care. Don't really care. I think, you know, if you start making excuses now, saying, yeah, it's a long season, obviously it has an effect, but it didn't have an effect on tonight's game. That wasn't the reason why they didn't lose tonight, because they've had a long season. They lost tonight because they were abject in their performance.
Yes, and Iceland played the same team with 4 games. If anything, they should be tired. You know, so we can't really go down that route. I don't know what to, I honestly don't know what to say.
Just give us a sense of an idea. When you're playing in a team, a bit like a sandcastle being washed away by the incoming tide, it's just collapsing around you, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Well,
why is that? What is that like?
The only time, I don't know. I'm not saying that Crouchy played in
Crouchy, what is that like?
I played in the England friendly in Boston when we lost 1-0, and you could feel it happening.
Yeah.
But
These boys were at Arsenal for years, you know. I've played in a few of those, so we were just saying that. But no, yeah, when it is collapsing around you, there's times where you can't do anything. Everything's going wrong.
Does it feel like there's a sort of exterior force which is gripping the game?
That's exactly right. I mean, you know, there's good players just, you know, doing fundamental errors, you know, and you know, it's happened to me in teams before. And
Crouchy, do you start looking around the team for somebody to go,
do something.
right, I'm going to sort this? Because I did. When that happened with us now, I used to look at Tony Adams and go, Tone, what do we do now? And something had come, you know, he'd do something.
So did England lack a character tonight to wrestle them out of that abyss?
They need almost like they needed a shake.
Yeah.
Someone needed to shake them.
The one player that tried, I think, was Rashford when he came on. I just felt that he just added something different. He was going past people. And he was trying to do things that others didn't. There was a serious lack of movement, you know, in the forward areas, and you know, he provided something a little bit different. But you know, his 5 minutes was nowhere near enough for him.
But were England lacking a John Terry, a Terry Butcher, a Brian Robson, you know, a Tony Adams? Is that what they were lacking this evening? Somebody, either literally or metaphorically, to shake them out of this torpor?
Well, normally as well, you might look at Wayne Rooney as the talisman of the team and say, OK, he steps up and you kind of do something, being the character he is, the amount of caps he's got. But second half, I almost, you know, felt sorry. Every single thing he did seemed to come off his shin, his passing, everything went wrong for him in the second half.
I just can't stop thinking about the film Space Jam. It's like the Monsters nick their talent or something in the second half. It's literally unexplainable what's happened to the lads the second half.
Yeah.
It's devastating to me. I can't believe it.
Yeah, bit of gallows humour. I think we can understand why. And Joe Hart this championship as well.
I know.
You know, the free kick with Gareth Bale and the goal there.
You feel for him because, like, he seems like one who is somebody who wants to charge up and get it going. But I thought he was a little bit too charged up.
Right, he said when the national anthem was being played and they went along the line, and Joe always sings it, you know, really fervently, and we looked at him and he seemed so pumped up, and he went, he needs to calm down. He seems a bit too pumped up, and you know, it wasn't long before he made that mistake. I don't know if that's any relevant or not.
It must make you tense, more tense.
So where do England go from here, Peter?
Well, that's a difficult thing, obviously.
Apart from home.
You can't make any knee-jerk decisions. I mean, you asked me about who the next England manager is going to be. I can't give you an answer. I could not tell you who I think would be best to be England manager to lead us forward. So I think the FA, they've got to sit down, they've got to look at it, they've got to weigh up the options and take their time. You know, we haven't got a tournament for a while, obviously. You know, we've got to take stock from this and move on.
World
think,
Cup qualifiers at the beginning of
Yes,
September,
yeah.
and Scotland in the group as well.
I think they'll probably go with Gareth now, if it's interim or whatever. But I think they'll probably go with him because he's just the natural next person to come, I think.
It's all right. We've got Slovakia away first qualifier.
Oh, yeah.
That'll be okay.
But, you know, is a part of the problem is the Premier League season will start and everyone go, great, who are Man United going to buy? What's Mourinho going to do? What's Guardiola going to do? Is this forgotten sometimes in English football? You've lived through it all so quickly because of our obsession with the league game.
Yeah, it will be. I mean, the papers will be full of it for the next, few days, and travelling home, the players are going to see all that and all the stuff that's going to come on social media, all of that sort of stuff. But at the end of the day, you've just got to calm yourselves down, and then we go again. You've got no choice. You go again.
All right, gents, thank you very much indeed. It's been a momentous night for English football. Peter, thank you as always. Ian, thank you. And Lee as well. So, Roy Hodgson resigns on the day of England's most humiliating defeat in a major championship since losing 1-0 to the USA in the Brazil World Cup in 1950. To go out of Europe once in a week is acceptable to many, but to go out twice, absolutely not. Thanks for your company. Good night.
The ground beneath my feet, I know was made for me. There is no any one place where I belong. Here we go. My spirit's meant to be free, and soon now everyone will see life was made for us to be what we want to be. And it's your world. Breakthrough! It's yours and yours and yours and what you see.
Oh, he's done it!
What's not meant for me is your world. You don't have to be lonely 'cause in your world you are truly free.
Oh, can you believe it?
To my mind are a very special kind because they're home to me and me alone.
It's in!
And then I realize that we all have a home inside was meant for us to be what we want to be.
Ronaldo!
It's your world.
Boateng! Oh, what a strike!
Yours and yours and yours and what you see.
It is a Welsh party in Paris.
What's not meant for me is your world.
Big chance this for Griezmann. It's over for Ireland.
Lonely 'cause in your world you are truly free.
Charisma has won it!
Yours and yours and yours and what you see.
Oh, what a goal!
Not meant for me is your world. You don't have to be lonely 'cause in your world you
It's
are
Eden Hazard! Fabulous! Here's Graziano Pella. He finishes it off. Wayne Rooney. England after early goal. Sinetson has equalised. 6-7. It's 2-1 for Iceland. It's difficult to think of anything quite as humbling as this defeat.